Hi friends, welcome to the Lori Lulu Crochet Podcast, episode 168. My name is Lori. I live in the Chicago suburbs with my husband Ryan and our two cats, Lydia and Priscilla. And I love to crochet and I love to knit, and you can find all of that yarny goodness on my social media, which is linked in the description box. My Instagram is there, my Ravelry is there, my email is there. Also, all the patterns that I talk about, I will link there as well. And any of the fancy yarns that are available, I will link them down, or link them in the description box as well. It could be, the description box could be below this video, beside this video, depending on where you watch it. So anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. Not that anything serious happened. But it's just, this last month has been crazy, and I'm glad that my house is starting to feel normal again. Although, what is normal anyway? Washer and dryer are working. Most of the basement is put back together. Still have a lot to put back together from the flood. So there is that. It did force us to go through things, and so we have a pile of stuff that needs to go either to the resale shop or whatever, thrift store. We shall see. So yeah, that's been an ongoing struggle, and I feel like we're finally seeing a lot, like we are almost out of this tunnel now, so yay. So things that have been happening in my life. So if you're new here, I usually try to do life stuff first, just because some family and friends don't really care about the yarn as much as I do. So if they want to see what's going on in my life, they just watch the first part and then they can leave if they want to. So where do I want to start? I don't even know. Let's start with the July 4th. Did you have a happy 4th? Did you celebrate? Did you do anything fun? For me, I just wasn't in the mood to celebrate with things that have been going on in the country and everything else. And then, of course, with everything going on in my life, personally, just didn't really care. And as someone who loves history, and the fact that it was a 250th, that really made me sad. That it's like, I don't care. And I should have cared. And anyway, but my neighbors had a good time, that's for sure. So for the actual day, Ryan and I went up to Michigan to see my parents. We spent the day with them, watched soccer. Very American sport, that's for sure. Anyway, we did, so when we came back, got back about 7 o'clock at night, because the cats, we have to be back. Although they probably would have been fine if we had been gone the whole night. But we came back and our neighbors were having a good time, that's for sure. For 2 hours straight, it was non-stop fireworks, either from behind us or beside us. Like, 2 hours, it was constant. And then about 9 o'clock, it became very gradual, like every so often, and maybe every 10 minutes or whatever. It was just, and I'm praying that it's just because it was the 250th and that's not going to be a regular occurrence. Because actually it might be irregular, because ever since 2020 on July 4th, this area, they go crazy with fireworks, even though you're not supposed to be having them. Yeah. So as far as like keeping history going, so my husband is a pastor of a small church. It's right behind us. And this year we are celebrating our 100th anniversary as a church. And so I was like, I've been meaning to message the archives anyway to ask about, because I had questions about my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, and my great-grandfather. Just wanted to know, like, where they were, when they were ordained, all of that. So, the Church of the Nazarene, which is what we are part of, we have an archivist who's actually, my best friend is dating him now, which is a weird connection. And she told me to message and be like, "Dear Dr. Wonderful," and I'm like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. So I messaged, I was like, hey, I have 2 inquiries. I have one about church, like if you can tell me some things, about past pastors, all of that. And then also my great-great-grandmother was an ordained pastor in the church. Can you tell me about her? And about my great-grandfather. Because my grandfather, I know. So when Ryan was ordained, he had a Bible that was used at my cousin's ordination, at my grandfather's ordination, at my great-grandfather's ordination, and my great-great-grandmother's ordination. So my great-great-grandmother was Louise Pace, and she was ordained when she was around 50 years old. And she had a church for a couple of years, but then she focused mostly on district stuff. So the church globally was separated into, hello Priscilla. We're separated into districts. And so for a while there, she was the district president of prayer and fasting. And so they just gave me some of the things that she worked on as the prayer and fasting president. And then they also gave me some history of my great-grandfather, Glenn. Now we're playing over there. That's good. Yeah. And then we got some history on our church. The first pastor of the church was a lady named Cora Ryan. And so some people, when they find out that the Church of Nazarene ordains women, they're like, when did they start doing this? I'm like, from the very beginning. Like, it's one of the things that I love about our church. Our denomination is women can preach. So yeah, that's just been fun to find out more of my history. Let's see, what else? As far as like I said, my house is finally getting back together. I've got the new washer and the new dryer going. That was an ordeal with the dryer. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm tired of talking about it, but everything's working great, and I'm very excited to do laundry in my house again. Although, every time I went to the laundromat, they had the World Cup on. So I watched a lot of soccer while I was doing laundry. Are you guys excited about the World Cup? I've been enjoying it quite immensely. I never played organized soccer. It was always in the backyard with my cousins and my brother. But I've been a soccer fan. I've been a U.S. women's soccer fan for a long time. I watched 1999 Brandy Chastain with her shirt off celebrating. Like, I watched it live, so yeah. So today there's 2 matches. There's Argentina versus Switzerland. I'm rooting for Switzerland, just so you know. Argentina won it last time. Let's have somebody new win, right? And then today, the game before that, or match before that, is England versus Norway. And as a historian, I'm like, interesting. So, you have, if you've heard anything of 1066, when William the Conqueror became King of England, it wasn't just him, a Frenchman coming over fighting against the English. There was also Vikings involved. So it's like this whole thing. The Bayou Tapestry, you know, this huge tapestry that was made to talk about this event this year in history, is fascinating to me. I watched a documentary on the Bayou Tapestry, so it's like history, fiber arts. Just, it hit that sweet spot for me. They talked about dyeing techniques, they talked about embroidery techniques, and all of that. If I can find it, I will link it down below. So you guys can watch it too if you're interested in that. But yeah, it was interesting. So, Norway versus England today. You have the Viking, Erling Haaland, who fascinates me. Not that I think he's good looking or anything, he's fascinating. He's so unique. Like, it just, I don't know. So I'm really rooting for him more than any team. Yeah, and blah, blah. I find it interesting that his friend on his like professional team is playing for England, so they're going to be playing each other. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So yeah. And then, just as things are getting back to normal in my house, my office is now being renovated. Basically, we had with all the new people we have, some people need to have their own office, not just this communal. It's not even like, it's like 3 rooms, but like the doors, there's doorways, but there's no doors. And so it's very, very fluid area that we all kind of talk over each other, yell at each other throughout the whole thing. So they've made a new office for Anthony, and he's going to be over in another part of the building beside Dennis. So those two are our main like gift officers. They're going to be over there. For those of you who knew, I work at a nonprofit. I work in the fundraising department. So gift officers they raise the big bucks. And then my director is going to be moving into the room I've been in for the last 5 years. He's going to be moving into that office. They've put up a wall now. So I was there yesterday. I was there Monday and yesterday. Monday they had just put the wall up, but they still had to paint, they still had to finish mudding, they had sanding, all of that. So the dust has been insane. So, but both days it's like I would stand up to go to the bathroom or go do something, and it's like, oh, there's a wall there, I can't go that way. Go around. So they're gonna put my director in there. Kayla and I will still share an office because we still need to chat about, we still need to be able to communicate. So we're moving into the office that Josh was in. So we're just swapping. I've got a new desk because the desk I have right now, I may just go over to the office later today and get a picture of my desk and be like, bye buddy, you did good. Because that thing is a behemoth. There's no way you can move it to another part of the office. Like, it has to be broken apart. And I'm like, if somebody else wants it, they can have it. I will miss the hutch though. I will miss that. But I have a new desk and some new furniture, so I'm still keeping my crisscross chair. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, so Monday they told us to stay home, which I'm fine with, but we had a Dutch Fest meeting scheduled for Monday. It's like all of our stuff from like my desk and all of Kayla's stuff from her desk, it's all in the meeting room where we would be meeting for Dutch Fest. So this is a Zoom only. Nobody can come be in person because there's no place for you to be. So that will be fun. And then of course having the cats run around will be interesting when I'm in a meeting. I'll just have mute on a lot. So right now they're both just curled up in different spots, laying down, relaxing, bathing. Yep. So there's Lydia. Oh, yes, I'm talking about you. And then Priscilla's right there. So there's both of them. And with that, shall we talk about dork? Drink, outfit, reading, and then crafting. So my drink for today is another Cherry Coke Zero. Lately, I've been like, Diet Coke just is tasting weird to me, and I just don't want it. Which, if you know, like, for probably the last 20 years, like, Diet Coke has been like nectar of the gods for me. So the fact that I don't want to drink it is odd. Could be a perimenopausal thing. Who knows? Outfit. I got a new t-shirt. So Ryan has all these cat t-shirts. That's his thing. I have cat project bags and cat knitting notions and stuff like that. And cat earrings, although you can barely see them. But I was on Amazon. This was on sale for like $10. And it has books and a cute little kitten. And so that's what that is. And so that leads me to reading. So reading mostly is, I do it with my ears. I do audiobooks a lot. I have been on this whole kick. There's a series of books. There are 21 books. They're little tiny books. The audio book is 3 hours long, 3.5 max. It's the Bunbury Mysteries by Helena Marchment. I have listened to 5 since I last spoke with you. And actually, when I made up my notes the other day, I have finished another one. And started another book. But I'm really mad because I usually get my audiobooks through Hoopla. And they have taken all the Bunbury books off. Like, there are none left. I'm going to be messaging them like, hey, I need the rest of these. I need to know what happens. So, like, each book is just a little mystery within itself, but there's an ongoing story that goes throughout. So, like, yesterday I was talking with a gentleman from another department in my building, and he was just like, so could I just pick one up and read it? I was like, no, there's a storyline throughout the whole thing. So, and he's like, oh, okay. I said, so yeah, it's really good. I enjoy it. The book that I started is A Dead and Stormy Night by Stephanie Holmes. Not quite sure how I feel about it right now. Of course, I'm only like 5% through the book. It's an 8-hour audiobook. So we shall see. Books that I've been reading with my eyeballs, though. Sorry. So I got this book a while ago. I started it a while ago. And, yeah, I'm not very far through it. Just trying to read. I don't know why I don't want to just sit and read anymore like I used to. I feel like the audiobooks help me, like, to clean. Like, if I need to be doing the dishes or whatever, put something on, and I can get stuff done. Like, I actually kind of look forward to cleaning, because it means I get to listen to my audiobook, which, that in itself is a victory. That I want to go clean. So sitting down and actually reading is hard. I did read a chapter last night, but the last 2 pages, my eyes were like getting really heavy. So, and plus, this is like book 4. Like, I don't know. So there's some things that are referenced in here. I'm like, I have no idea what that means. But we will press on, and I will see about finding the first 3 books for this series. So this is Haunting License, by Carol J. Perry. I got this as like a blind date kind of thing. It was a blind date with a book and yarn. There was matching yarn that came with it. And Priscilla has made her mark on it already. Yes, naughty kitty. And then for work, we've kind of started our own book club kind of thing, but it's business stuff. So this is Radical Candor by Kim Scott. There's the book. So yeah, be a kick-ass boss without losing your humanity. I will say I got really annoyed through the first few introduction and chapter, when I worked at this place, and when I worked at this place, and when I worked at this place, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, there are places that you want to name drop that you've worked at. So, anyway, I was just like, whatever. So we'll see how that goes. So that is drink, outfit, reading. Now it's on to crafting. I have 2 finished objects to show you, and I'm so excited that they are done. I don't know, with everything that's been going on, it's like crafting, crocheting, or knitting was kind of like the last thing I would think about. And yet it was also like a refuge. Like, oh, I can sit and knit for a while. That's great. I love that. So, and then also when I was at the laundromat, I had a project with me every time, so I could just sit and knit and watch the World Cup. First finished object I want to show you was living in this bag. It is now being repurposed for another project, which I will show you. But it is my Rapunzel bag, made by yours truly. It is the Lemmon Drizzle socks by Debbie Ford. The yarn that I used for the heels and the cuff, I gotta find the ball band. It's in here. I promise you it's in here. Oh my gosh, okay. There it is. I found it. Because it's a mini, it's a very tiny ball band. So, for the heels and the cuff, I used Gems Luxe Fibers. I got this as a item in a swag bag from YarnCon. So this is her, let me get my glasses. This is her 2024 show colorway, and it's called a Southern Peach. This beautiful peachy color, which I love. The main color was the skein of yarn that has been in my stash the longest, so I'm glad to get it out. And the part of me is like, why did I take so long to use this yarn? But it is from me to yarn. I don't think they dye anymore, so sorry. But I love their thing. Their slogan is deliciously bold hand-dyed yarns to express what makes you uniquely you. And this is their steady sock base, which is a fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon blend. And the colorway is Crystal Opal. Here is the entire, what's left. So when I do my socks, I split them in 2. I do them 2 at a time. So I split the ball of yarn in 2. I've since put them all together, and what was left is this. It is attached to another project right now, so we will talk about that later. But the Lemon Drizzle socks, let me show you. Here they are. So last time you saw, I had just finished the heels. I did not do the heel from the pattern. I did the shadow wrap heel. There's a tutorial on YouTube by Denise from Earth Tones Girl. So yeah, so that's my favorite sock pattern. I have that so memorized that it's super easy. And when I finished the heel, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of working on these socks. I don't know why. I was just like, let's just make them shorty socks. And so there they are. There they are. So yeah, I do not have a lemon stitch marker, but I do have a lemon colored gem. So that's what I used. There they are. And look at this colorway. I'm just, oh, I love these colors so much. So they're going to be in another project. So yeah. And then it's like, this is all I have left of the mini skein. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to switch I didn't want to switch colors for the heel. So I didn't. And yeah. But yeah, look at this pattern. It is a lot of fun. You do have to count. You do have to make sure you know how to count, because I've made a lot of mistakes on these socks because I wasn't counting. And that's fine. And I don't care. So, finished object number 2. Speaking of cats, this is my Disney cat bag, made by me again. The inside has these cute little paw prints on it and hearts. In here, I took it out. So the ball of the leftover yarn is already stashed away for my Advent skein, my scrappy Advent swap with viewers of this podcast. So if you want to join us, you can email me. We swap yarns, scrappy yarns. If you email me, I can give you more details. But the yarn that I used for my sock head slouch hat by Kelly McClure, I used Up North yarns, and up meaning UP, Upper Peninsula. This is hand dyed in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It was her zebra fingering weight, so there's portions of it that were barber pulled with black yarn. It's a 2-ply, and it is an 80-20 merino nylon blend, and the colorway I chose was zebra blue. And so here is my finished hat. So these black parts here, that's where it was like twisted with black, so it's not like fully black. So last time you saw with my Mickey Mouse stitch marker was here, and I finished all of this. And obviously I did not follow instructions. I never follow instructions, really. So I do not like a folded brim. I like my hat to be snug and secure, especially against my ears. Keep me warm, because that cold Chicago wind gets you every time. And then I am not a big fan of a lot of slouch, so I did not do a lot. And of course, the stitch marker keeps hitting me in the back of the head. But here, yeah, I'm very happy with how this hat turned out. I've done this pattern before, and of course it was my first time like knitting a hat, so I was impatient, and yeah, that hat does not fit me very well, and it has a folded brim, so I really don't like it. So yeah, so there is my finished object number 2. And that will go in the basket with the rest of my handmade knits for the winter. Crazy. Think about winter right now when it is 90 degrees. Okay, make some progress. I have 4. So 2 of them you've seen. One of them I talked about last time. I have started. And then there's a surprise one as well. So we'll go with one that you've seen. This, living in this Christmas sheepy bag, is my Christmas on the Horizon cardigan. The pattern is the Horizon Cardigan by Mary Etheridge. It is a Hobie pattern, so you can find it on Hobie's website. It will be linked down below. The yarn that I am using is these huge skeins. There's 4 colors. Ta-da! These are, I know I have the band. These were cakes, big yarn cakes. Oop, I feel them. There they are. Okay. Yeah, so they're big cakes of yarn that I balled up because some of the cakes were falling apart. But these are Big Twist Winter. These were Joanne yarns, but you can find them on Hirschner's website now. So I will link those down below in the description box. So the colors that I have, so this is 100% anti-pilling acrylic. You get 200 grams, 601 yards, and I have 4 of them. I have 4 different colors. So I have, this one is Bright and Merry. This one is Christmas Tree Farm. This one is Twinkle Lights. And this one is Party at the North Pole. And so this is a hexagon sweater. You make 2 big hexagons, stitch them together, make a cardigan. I know, right? I have stitched them together. So, alright, here we go. None of the ends have been woven in. I don't know if I will weave them in. Because I did the magic knot, so I'm hoping I can just cut and be done. So, here's my cardigan. Oh my gosh, look at it. It's not completely done. I still have to finish the sleeves and then add some length to the body. But I can put it on. Oh, let's not get my ring caught. Oh, looky here. Looky here. So right now it hits, here's my hip bone right here. So it hits, it's kind of like a cropped cardi. But yeah, I definitely want it longer and pockets as well. So last time you saw, I was here on this side, did that, and then seam this together using a, oh, I missed this. I missed the slip stitch there. We'll have to figure that out. So basically, like, you would do a cluster and then slip stitch, so it's not like sewn together, it's stitched together. And then I added, I think, 4 rounds to the back of, yeah, and then did the same kind of stitching together as well, because I did not like the collar on the cardigan as it's written. So with adding more rows to the back, I've made it so it's more like straight down, the way I like a cardigan to fit. So this is my entry into the Slow and Steady Festive Make-Along, hosted by Allie of Little Drops of Wonderful and Suzanne of Green Lambkin Yarns. Yeah, slow and steady, and yet I'm kind of racing through it because this has been a granny stitch is so fun to do. So I think next I'm going to work on the sleeves, and then we'll get to the body. The body. All right, let's clean off some of this so I can see my notes here. Okay. Next crochet project, one that I talked about I was going to do. Whoops. is living in my Rapunzel bag. So this is the pattern that I'm kind of referencing is the One Skein Wonder Lite by Fiber and Fox. Like I said, I don't really follow patterns that well. But the yarns that I'm using, you've seen. I have the Gems Luxe Fiber and the From Me to Yarn, Crystal Opal, Southern Peach. Basically, I've just been following this pattern to get the right amount of stitches started, and also you're doing the mini bean stitch. So I needed to figure out how to do that. But here's my cowl so far. So for the first part of the cowl, I did the peach, and then as I get into the main part of the pattern with the mini bean stitch, I switched to the crystal opal, and you can see all of those beautiful colors in this. Like, ooh, look at that hot pink right there. So that is that's my cowl so far. I'm calling this my Opal Wonder cowl because I'm not really following that pattern very well. So I talked about starting that last time. The one that I have started that I did not talk about. So I have a friend at church who has been having a lot of physical health issues, and they have decided to do a lung transplant for her. So if you are a praying person, please pray for Sue as she's going through this. Or if you're not a praying person, send positive vibes because she needs all the help she can get. Her husband has been going through his own health issues. And the other day we went to go see them, and their house was warm, not like they had the thermostat set pretty high, and she was still covered in blankets because she was so cold. And my thought was, I need to make her something to keep her warm. And so I found a prayer shawl pattern. It's not on Ravelry, but I will link it. I found it on Pinterest. I will link it down below. One of the main reasons I wanted to do this pattern is because years ago, I'm talking like 2011, like when I started crocheting, like one of the first blankets I ever made was this neon pink green, beautiful stitch. Like, it was a lot of fun to make that blanket. And I could never find that pattern again. I could never find that stitch pattern. I think I have found it now. So I was like, ooh, let me try this pattern, see if it's anything like what I made. Because I love that stitch and I would love to make another blanket with that stitch. So the prayer shawl is by Joe to the World. That's her website. I will link that down below. The yarns that I'm using, I don't think you can get any more. Oh, yeah, you can. You can get them at, I looked to see if I could get them at Hirschner's. They do not have them at Hirschner's, but you can get them at Michael's. So yeah, it is Big Twist Twinkle. So it is, former Joann's yarn. It is, let's see, 97% acrylic, 3% metallic fiber. This is the colorway gray. And then I have white. And then I have, which one's this one? Light purple. So I bought this yarn for another project and then just felt like, nope, this needs to be a prayer shawl for Sue. And so this, I found this really unique too. You go lengthways instead of widthways. So this is the length of the shawl. right here. I can't even fit it all on the screen. So I started with 2 rows of the light purple, and now I'm on the gray. And there's a close-up of the stitch. It's just, look at that sparkle. And I'm pulling out stitches as I get it. Okay. Oops. So let's knot this so we don't lose it. Okay. So here we are so far. Loving it. And I'm excited to make more things with the stitch. So yeah. So that's what we've got going on so far. Let's see. And don't worry, I still have a lot, like a drawer full of this yarn. Because I was planning on a big project, and now, yeah, let me make several prayer shawls for people. So that is the last of the crochet, the knitting. In this basket is my Rainbow Bright sweater. It's following the pattern of the Rainbow Sweater by Yelly Knits. This has been my slow and steady project, honestly. So, the Rainbow Sweater, I saw somebody wearing it at YarnCon 2 years ago. And it's been stuck in my head ever since. And so finally, I bit the bullet. I got the yarn. I'm making this sweater. And I'm doing it. My inspiration is Rainbow Bright. One of my favorite characters of all time. That needs to go with that. So, the yarn that I'm using is Cascade Yarns. It's Heritage 6. It is a sport weight yarn. Pattern calls for DK. Of course I had to do that. So this is 75-25 merino superwash merino nylon blend. I am using the highlighter colors of this yarn. So highlighter purple, highlighter blue, highlighter red, highlighter green, so on. No orange though, I will say that. Because there is no orange on Rainbow Bright's costume. So, here's my sweater so far. The sleeves are already done. They are still upstairs. I am now slogging through the body. And of course, if I want to make it fit me, there's a lot of body to go through. And we are all tangled here. What is going on? Okay. So my stitch stoppers, given to me by a viewer, Emmy. Hi, Emmy. So there's a rainbow, and then the Rainbow Bright. There you can kind of see her outfit. It's a little different than the inspiration, but here's my sweater so far. This line here, this pink, is a lifeline. And when I get to finish the body and I'm getting to where I need to add the sleeves and do the yoke, I will add another lifeline because give me some peace of mind here. So last time you saw, I was here. So I've done quite a bit. And according to my calculations, I think I have 20 rows left to go. And then we can start finishing this up. Like, oh my gosh. And of course, this has been pushing me in ways that I kind of need to be pushed. So like learning a provisional cast on, learning how to do, because you make the rainbow first, and then adding the rainbow, like starting the body and adding the rainbow in like that. It's not perfect. It looks pretty janky, but I don't care. I'm learning things, right? So, let's see. Actually, I may have more rows to go. Because if I want it to hit, let's see, where do I want it to hit? I want it to hit like right here, like right below my hip bone. My hip bone's here. I have the ribbing to do as well. So there's like 2 inches of ribbing. So, yeah, maybe. I may be close. So, 20 rounds gives me another 3 inches. So, yeah, I think I'm 20 rounds from the end of just the body. Ah! That's kind of scary. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay. And as if I didn't have enough to work on, of course I have to start some new things as well. Of course I have to have a pair of socks on the go. So, these are going to be a pair of socks for my mother. I bought the yarn a few months ago, I think, in the hopes of I'd make matching socks for my mother and I. So I'm going to make hers first, and then I'll get to mine eventually. But my mom went with me to Florida when I got to meet Hannah and Kalisha. Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. And so I thought, you know what? I need to put socks for my mom in a bag made by Kalisha. So this lovely bag I actually bought from her. Gosh. It was before we met, and we met in 2022. So it's a pretty... This is like one of the original Kalisha bags, and there's her little logo. So yeah, I'm just gonna do vanilla socks. I have been craving vanilla socks. I've been doing a lot of pattern socks lately, so vanilla socks it is. So here's the yarn. Mom and I went shopping together at the yarn shop, and we both just were like, ooh. So that's why we decided matching yarns, or matching socks out of this. Of course, I have to make them both. So this is CMS Supply Company, handcrafted in Virginia. This is on their CMS nylon sock. It is an 80-20 merino nylon blend. The male person is walking up my driveway. Anyway, probably I have a package. So this beautiful orange pink, hold on. I think that's the first time the cats have heard the doorbell. It was a certified letter that I had signed for. Anyway, so CMS Supply Company, Supply Co. The colorway, this orangey, yellow, pink, yummy stuff, is called Bubbly Citrus. And so then to pair it, I got this lovely pale pink colorway. This is Emma's yarn, which is from Florida. This is on her mini skein. It's 80-20. Part of the label is cut off. But this is called Poppin'. I figure bubbly, popping works great. Of course, Mary Poppins, all of that. Oh, I should use the Mary Poppins bag. Anyway. So yeah, so I need to ball these up. What I usually do is I do my socks 2 at a time, toe up. I use the pattern by Wendy Progner-Geckner. I usually increase to about 60 stitches around. And then I usually go up about 85, 86 rows from toe to heel. Then I do the shadow wrap heel. Like I said before, there's a tutorial on YouTube by Denise from Earth Tones Girl. And then on the leg, it just depends on how long I want it, how I'm feeling. Go based on vibes is how long I knit my leg. And then I usually do a 2x2 ribbed cuff. So for Mom's sock, I don't have to go as far because her feet are a little shorter than mine. So yeah, we'll get started on those probably tomorrow, maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes me to ball them up. The other project that I want to start soon and get done, obviously I need to get the prayer shawl done, but I need to make something for the cats. Of course I do. So in here, the stitch bag. Beach life is a good life. It used to house my Rainbow Bright sweater, but the basket is so much easier. This is just a bunch of scrap yarns. I don't even know if I can get them up there. 100% acrylic yarns, big twist, red heart, got yellow, got several colors. Actually, so a lot of these colors were in my Christmas tree skirt, which I'm wondering how these girls are gonna do with that. But I found a pattern, Cat Sack Hideaway by Allison Murray. I have to go buy a metal hoop, so like the sack will stay open and they can crawl in and crawl out how they need to. This is just gonna be a stash busting project, so there's really no hurry on it, but you know how that goes. So I think it's just single crochets throughout the whole thing, and I may just do like I've seen people where they roll dice, so like each color is assigned a number, and then they roll it for how many rows they're going to do that color, or they draw colors, or they draw, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it like, make it totally random. I may actually put the yarns in front of them and be like, pick a color, girls. What color do you want? And then hopefully they will use it. Because I mean, we buy stuff for the cats and they just don't care sometimes, So anyway, with that, so a trip to Michael's is in my future. I didn't even look at Walmart, but when I looked online, it didn't look like they had what I was looking for. It wasn't big enough, I should say. So, oh, what did you see? So funny. Dead asleep to instant alert. Out of nowhere. Anyway. So, with that, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you all later. God bless. Bye.